Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is the Global Reality Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thank you for being with us here tonight for another Moonbat edition of the broadcast. It is Monday. Well, it's, it was officially Tuesday now, Monday, March 28th, going into March 29th, but it is our official first show of the week. So this is a Monday show, and glad you can join us and be with us here tonight for the broadcast. We're going to be having a conversation tonight about all kinds of various topics of discussion and things here. Unbelievably, there is not a whole hell of a lot of news today. This is one of the slowest Mondays I've seen for news, which is, fine with me. Fuck the news anyway. Actually, to be honest with you, I guess more appropriately, the things that I choose to talk about are slow or few and far between. I think that's what it is. Because some of this stuff anymore, man, I just won't even cover. And it's going to continue to get that way even more because we're going to be heading into campaign season. And then into election season. And then all of the news and all of the horseshit revolves around that. And I got to be honest with you, I fell into that. I fell into that trap of that a bit, not too much, but I did fall into the trap of that a bit. The first go round, I guess, in the elections between 2007, 2008, 2009. Yeah, I fell into that a bit, just because I was doing radio at the time and I was on Oracle and RBN and all these other channels and whatnot. So that's kind of what everybody was talking about. But then towards it started getting closer to the elections, I just quit talking about all that stuff and started reading books and things like we're doing now. So I'm definitely going to be doing more of that. And going to be working on getting some more guests on the show and everything too. In fact, Nick in the chat room there, formerly known as Black Sheep Radio, he's now going by, I don't know what the fuck he's calling himself this week. Durka Allah Muhammad Jihad, or where the fuck your name is. Durkistan. I always told him he should go by Dirk and Nick so we know who the fuck he is. Because from now on, I'm just going to go Nick, Black Sheep Radio. People are going to, who the fuck is that? All I see is this Durka motherfucker. Who's he? But yeah. Anyway, regardless of that, he had contacted William Bramley, who, of course, has written the book that we're reading on the air right now. We'll be reading from that tonight on the broadcast as well. William Bramley's The Gods of Eden. We'll be getting back into that tonight. So those of you who've been keeping up with the shows for the past several weeks as we've been reading this, you'll enjoy this tonight. If you haven't been keeping up or you're just now tuning into the broadcast, definitely go hit the archive section at theglobalreality.com, which is the website where this broadcast originates, and catch up on the archives there and listen to that. But as I was saying, Nick has contacted Mr. Bramley, and apparently he's busy until, I don't know, somewhere in the second week of April or something like that. And William Bramley has agreed to come on the show. So how amazing is that? So thanks to Nick for setting that up and everything. I think that's going to be a monumental interview. I mean, I think that's going to be the show where, I felt like over the past few weeks in our reading of his book, we've kind of sealed the door shut. And I think a lot of us, including myself, have had more of our suspicions and more of our things confirmed about, just how far back this power structure goes and who's really running it and whatnot. Because, see, for the longest time, those of you who've been listening to my show for the longest time know that that's a subject that I've talked about and got into some, but never really tried to, convince you of an opinion one way or the other. So what's been awesome to me has been that since you guys have been listening for a while and you've heard me talk about the CMP stuff and the Jesuit stuff and the priest class stuff and all that and the inner workings of that, now that you're aware of that information after we've been talking about it for the past several years, now that we're kind of going back to the the custodians, the Anunnaki, that kind of whole level of stuff, the Sumerian stuff. Now that we're going back to that, after we've looked at all this other information for the past several years, boy, isn't it amazing? Anybody else with me? And I think that this is amazing how much more perspective we have now and how we're getting now reading this book. I really feel that way. I feel like, it was good that that wasn't something that we had done for a period of time. And then we, you know what? He's been on Coast to Coast AM. I really don't give a rat's ass who other show he's going to be on. He hasn't been on my show. Okay. So he can go on and be on everybody else's show as well, but he hasn't been in the ring with Josh Reeves yet. So when he gets in the ring with me, we're going to seal the deal on this motherfucking priest class custodian shit once and for all. So, I don't care who else shows he's been on. He hasn't been on my show yet. So it's a big deal to me. You know what I mean? Big deal to me. It really is. So I'm not going to let anybody try to take that away from me because I think it's big. So thanks to Nick for setting that up. But, I really do. I feel like now we've got more of a perspective. And now that we've seen, because it interlocks all the other pieces that we already have, especially pertaining to the CMP and the bloodlines and, the Jesuits and really the whole system of control. And also explains why the predominant truth movement and patriot movement and Alex Jones has for years tried to shy people away from this information. I mean, it makes total sense now. Of course, these priest class minion bozos in mainstream media, and I just throw Alex Jones, and I don't even call. He's not alternative media. If you call, he's not one of us. Fuck him. But so from now on, I'm just going to refer to him as one of the mainstream media tards. But anyway, you got all these mainstream media tards like Alex Jones and Glenn Beck and their little circus sideshows. And this is exactly what that stuff is designed to do. Keep you good and distracted, keep you good and entertained, and also keep you in a political bullpen to where they can control the perimeters of what people believe and think about your information, because then they just use the guilt by association thing and say, oh, well, that person's a right winger or that person's this, that, and the other. So anything they're saying must not be true. That's why those of us who have separated ourselves from that whole end of it and separated ourselves from the truth movement, the patriot movement as a whole, and make it very apparent, myself included, and many other people in our listening audience, we make it very apparent to people that, hey, we're not a part of that. And that's dangerous to this power structure. Because for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, there are people out there like us. For years it was, oh, well, those are just the liberal moonbats, the left wingers, conspiracy theorists. And then whenever the Democrats would get in office, then all of a sudden it's flipped around and it's the right wingers that are conspiracy theorists. And you do see people that are in the research kind of jump between both sides of that. But now they've gotten everybody, the majority of people, buying into this phony pseudo new right bullshit. I mean, it's like now they've got people who are coming into the truth movement, new jacks, new people, new blood, and automatically these people are being roped right into the Republican Party because they're told Ron Paul is the savior. I mean, the whole thing has become a vacuum, a John Birch Society, priest class, Jesuit-backed vacuum that sucks people who are outside of the mainstream of culture, who are outside of the mainstream consciousness, mainstream political structure, sucks them in like a vacuum, brings them in over here and makes them think that this is the different, this is alternative. You know, this is where the cool people are. But that's not where the cool people are. These are still fucking right-wingers and Republicans over here. But they tricked these people into believing. And, you know, everybody made fun of Freeman, and I don't agree with Freeman on everything, and I think some of the shit he talks about is moonbatty as hell. He probably thinks the same thing about me, but I respect the guy, and he respects me, and you know, whatever else, and I won't ever say anything bad about the guy. But people made fun of him incessantly in 2007, 2008, because he was the first guy, even before I was saying it, and I said it after him, but he was the first guy, and I will say this, and I will go to bat for him at any moment. Freeman was the first guy, no matter what you want to say about that guy or think about him or anything else, that's irrelevant what your opinion of his information or him or anything else is. That's beside the point. But the fact of the matter is, it's an absolute fact. Before anybody else, Freeman was the first guy standing up and saying, you know, don't you guys think it's just odd that you guys are all changing your voting status over to Republican and voting for this right-winger, Ron Paul, sucking you right back into their system? Aren't we supposed to be outside of it? And nobody was listening to him, and everybody was calling him crazy. And then right about that time was when I started finding out about the CMP. And I started going, well, there you go. There's the explanation. This is why. It's a fact, man. I mean, I met people in the 9/11 group I was in Dallas that were the same way. These were, you know, pinko commies. Pinko commies, man, leftists, you know, Che Guevara t-shirt wearing motherfuckers, changing their voting status over from Democrat to Republican to vote for Ron Paul. It's a trap. It's a trap. And so now that we have a constituency of people and a growing constituency of people out there like you and like me, and like everybody else that we know and associate with, that are not buying into any of the paradigms. No paradigms at all. The only thing that we're running on here are the provable basis facts, but yet we're all still intellectual and spiritual at the same time without having to initiate ourselves in one of their left or right paradigms or one of their religion paradigms or anything else. That's a threat. You got to believe that's a threat, man. And our numbers are growing every day. Every day there's more of us around. Every day I find more people like us. Our numbers are growing, folks. We're going to become dangerous to these people. We're not left wing. We're not right wing. We don't believe in any of their political systems. We're not entranced and trapped by the truth movement and patriot movement and all the trappings of that. We don't want material things. They can't buy us. And we have a connection with our spiritual sides and the spiritual side of the universe that we're all 100% a part of. There is no disconnection. Yet we don't need a religion or a priest class or anything else to dictate that to us. This is fucking dangerous. Dangerous. I mean, this has the potential to grow into something that can affect the power structure in a significant way, and we're all doing it. You're a part of this. You understand? I hope you understand, because if you're hearing the sound of my voice right now, and you have no interest in being part of the true spiritual revolution, the true people's revolution, you better turn the radio off now because it's already too late. You're a part of it. Because you have found me and you have found my show, and I can say this now after 4 years of doing radio with, you know, scant listenership and scant support and everything else. I'm telling you, folks, this is the honest to God truth. If you have found my show, congratulations. And this is not a a boost of credibility or importance on me. It's a boost in credibility and importance on you. Because if you have had the wherewithal and the foresight and the knowledge to be able to see past these hucksters, these liars, these gatekeepers, these shills, these people that tell you there are a lot of real stuff. No, there's a lot of real stuff. Alex Jones tells you a good quality amount of good real information. Yes, he peppers it with fear. But the big thing is It's what he does not talk about. And that's the big thing. So if you've been able to get past those guys and you've now made it here to this community, congratulations. That says something about you. That says that they don't have the ability to take you down very easy, and that you're not going to go down without a fight, and then you're not going to allow anyone's thoughts to be yours except yours. That's huge. You have come a long way. And you will continue to come a long way. So I do want to say also as well, if you're a new person and you're coming in, you're a new person coming into the chat, you're a new person coming in and being, part of the community and hanging out, I got to tell you, man, we're a rough fucking bunch. Put your, as we always have to say, and I think I'm going to have to get special T-shirts because eventually I'm going to get special T-shirts for the hardcore community chatters and the people that have been that live in the chat room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and have for some time, so many years now. You guys know who you are. I'm going to get special Club Moonbat shirts made for us. I think on the back it should say something like "Put your big boy drawers on," some shit like that on it. Because man, I tell you, it's people get butthurt very easily sometimes because. When you come in my chat room, and I try not to, I don't interact with the chat room all the time, but oftentimes I do interact with the chat room. And I got to tell you, man, it's a live fire situation. Okay. I just want to put this out there in case I know there's a lot of new people coming to listen to the broadcast, and I love you. And I thank you so much for coming and hanging out and wanting to be a part of the community. And we want you. So don't run away, please. But you got to understand, it's a live fire situation. If you come into my chat room during my show, it's a live fire situation. And I'm in front of the mic, and it's my show, and it's my network, and I do what I want to do. There's probably not more than a couple of people in that chat room right now that I probably hadn't gotten, twisted sideways with and insulted and called him a cocksucker or something at one time, or a cunt, or but nobody remembers that shit like the next day. You know what I mean? I mean, once you get to the next day and it's a new day and you come in the chat again and there's a new show coming, and nobody remembers that shit. It's dust in the wind, man. You know what I mean? But we're a rough bunch, and we're kind of shit knocks around a little bit. So you got to man up or woman up, put your big boy, girl or big boy drawers on, and, come in and be an adult. Yeah, I mean, shit gets brutal sometimes. We'll drop dirty, disgusting, nasty things in the chat and have dirty, disgusting, nasty conversations about things that are fucking grotesque and not always, but, so what, right? I mean, it's an outlet. At least you can talk about it, and then while you're over it and you move on. But anyway, somebody apparently got butthurt last week. You know who you are. It's kind of their own fault. It was somebody made a comment about me playing Rush, which is kind of a bad move to do because Rush is one of my favorite all-time bands, and I could give a rat's ass whether you like them or don't like them or anything else because it's irrelevant to me. And then that person also made, here was the thing that pissed me off more than anything. They made some snide comment that I probably like AC/DC too. And, it kind of hurts my feelings when people make broad assumptions, especially about me. Because until you get to know me and really know who I am, what I'm really all about, I don't fall into any of your classic categories or classic assumptions that you might have, even though you may feel that you've, dealt with every type of person. Let me tell you something. You haven't dealt with Josh Reeves yet. You haven't dealt with me. I'm a whole different breed. Remember what Hunter S. Thompson said about Dr. Gonzo? Some kind of high-powered mutant, not even considered for mass production? That's me. That's what I am. I'm a high-powered mutant, not even considered for mass consumption. I'm a strange mix of character. Yeah, not like there's something wrong with AC/DC. Yeah, I understand that. But I liked AC/DC when I was younger. Yeah, I don't listen to them now. I don't own one of their CDs, but I have nothing against them. I saw their concert when I was like 18. It was the loudest thing that that I ever heard in my life. But what I'm saying is it wasn't the fact that it was AC/DC or anything else like that. That's not the point. The point of the matter is when you make broad assumptions about me that are in no way, shape, or form true, and then you make them in my chat room during a live show, and I come on the show and I address that, you can't really be mad at me for it. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, it's a live fire situation. You come in, that's how it is. But you know what? Nobody even remembers anything like that when it happens, and they happen, and you move on, and it doesn't really matter. That's just how it goes. I've gotten sideways with everybody, in the chat room at some point, on air and everything else, because signals get crossed sometimes. But anyway, just the whole moral of my story is that we have a community of people here, and it's growing every day. And but I'm gonna fucking play Rush, and if you fucking bitch about it, you're gonna hear Rush for every goddamn bumper and every break and every pre-show. I will play their entire goddamn collection for the next 6 months and just enjoy. I did that one time. I was on, somebody else did that to me one time back when I was doing shows on Blog Talk. And man, I didn't even play around. It was every fucking break I'd play 2 Rush songs. I'd play 12-minute epics, I'd play the whole front side of Hemispheres, which is 30 minutes long. I'd play the whole front side of it. Just let it roll. Today's pre-show music will be 2112, Hemispheres, and Farewell to Kings. Back to back. You ready? Get your D&D dice out too, motherfuckers. But yeah, that's just how I roll, because that's what kind of an asshole I am. So that's another thing. If you had any illusions that I'm an asshole, you better squash those immediately, because I am. And I'm crazy, and I don't give a fuck. And I also, another thing that also kind of rubs people the wrong way is I don't suck up or kiss ass to women. I love women. I love vagina. It's one of my favorite things on the face of the planet. But I don't suck up and kiss ass to women, and sometimes that's a problem. But it's generally not with the women. And we have one of the best women listening audiences I think I've ever seen. My goodness. The guy-to-girl ratio is ridiculous. There's almost more girls than males listen to my show. And that's really weird, because the predominant demographic for this type of shit's generally, single white males. But we have every color, race, creed, financial background. I mean, with listeners in 32 countries. So pretty amazing stuff. Tell you what is not amazing, though. Not amazing the amount of news, but an amazing amount of bullshit. Right now, up on Lee Rogers' website, roadgovernment.com, there's a video clip. Glenn Beck makes fun of Alex Jones' overtly homosexual interview with Charlie Sheen. This is funny to watch, man. This is so funny to watch. This staged theater going on between these CMP Heritage Foundation right-wing owned shills. In case you didn't know, and I know most of our listening audience already knows this, it is a fact, an absolute fact, that Alex Jones and Glenn Beck work for the same people. Now, they don't technically work for the same company per se, but that could also be argued because, of course, Glenn Beck does his show on Fox Radio, and Alex Jones' Sunday show that he does on KLBJ in Austin, which is his Sunday show, is a Fox News affiliate and is owned by Fox News. So technically, Alex Jones does get a check from Fox News. Now, it may be a once-a-week show, but he still gets a check from Fox News. Doesn't that, by proxy, technically make him mainstream media? Well, he's had that show on that Sunday show. Well, goddamn, I was listening to him when he had it, so it had to have been, he's had it since at least 2006. 2005, maybe even 2005, 2006. So at least for 5 years, this guy's been mainstream media. So we've seen this now. Remember when, a few months ago, Alex Jones was saying, folks, by this time next year, I'm telling you, Glenn Beck's going to be hardcore. He's going to be Alex Jones level. He's going to be talking about the new world. He's going to be exposing stuff. He's going to be on our side, folks. Remember that? And then now, oh yeah, he's talking about the Alex Jones, Charlie Sheen interview and being homosexual and all this. Notice how they're pitting this against this right at the time when Glenn Beck's ratings are down. Hey, I got to tell you, it's a very real possibility that Alex Jones could be plopped down smack dab in the middle of Glenn Beck's current spot. I almost called him Glenn Jones. Glenn Jones. Oh my God, we just created a new one, didn't we? Glenn Jones. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new creation. We have now solved the problem of Glenn Beck versus Alex Jones. We have the technology. We have fused them together into one gigantic, goddamn priest class driven Christian, Mormon, truth seeking monster. This guy pisses and shits founding fathers. You understand? He wipes his ass on Constitution toilet paper. He drinks the blood of Christ out of the horn of the devil himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Glenn Jones. That is the Antichrist. It's official. They're going to cross Alex Jones and Glenn Beck and create Glenn Jones, and Glenn Jones is going to be the motherfucking Antichrist. Oh, I cracked it. Oh, I got it all figured out now. Anyway, the point of the story here is this is not even worth discussing. One more time for the people in the cheap seats way in the back, Alex Jones and Glenn Beck work for the same people. I mean, Glenn Beck is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Heritage Foundation. You understand that, right? Look at his connections. The guy he's Heritage Foundation 7 Ways to Sunday. We have the clip of the Heritage Foundation in The Secret Right, Volume 1, my first film made in 2009 on the subject of the Council for National Policy. And on that very clip in the film, we have clips from the news archives going back to 1983 where the Heritage Foundation talks about using food as a weapon. I don't know about you, but people who are associated with things like eugenics and food as a weapon and all this other stuff, it's not the kind of people I want to be associated with. And yet another indicator that there's no difference between Alex Jones and Glenn Beck. Priest class gatekeeper Glenn Beck interviews priest class gatekeeper G. Edward Griffin to discuss the Federal Reserve. Just unbelievable stuff there. John Birch Society all the way. The guy ripped off all of Eustace Mullins' work. And here he is, one of Alex Jones' big buddies, and here he is on Glenn Beck. And then we're told that there's, a battle going on between people that support Glenn Beck and people that support Alex Jones. And those people need to go against each other. This is ridiculous fucking WWF style bullshit. Glenn Beck and Alex Jones are no different than any of these WWF wrestlers, right? You know that, right? All the people that watch wrestling, not wrestling, wrestling, how we call it down here in the South, boy. Wrestling. WRASSLIN. Wrestling. That's what they call it down here, man. It's not wrestling, it's wrestling. But that's all these guys are. And everybody that used to watch wrestling when they was a kid are now watching wrestling as adults. Except what's interesting about this is now you have these 72 IQ Svengalis running around thinking that they're fucking MIT graduates because they watch Loose Change over and over again and they can recite the melting point of jet steel and thermite and all this stuff, and they think that makes them educated, and they think that puts them above everybody else who doesn't know about the official story of 9/11 being bullshit. And so this is the whole thing that's going on now, because these people it's just stage theater, folks. It's wrestling. It's what it is. Call it what it is, wrestling. It's just like saying it. Wrestling. Wrestling's coming on. Get in here. Oh, what else? Oh, more. Yeah. Alex Jones is complaining that the corporate media is censoring the Porter Stansberry End of America advertisement he helped narrate. This is up on roadgovernment.com as well. Oh, man. Yeah, again, anything except important stuff. You notice how they do that? I don't give a fuck. I mean, look at what's happening in the world. Fuck Alex Jones and Glenn Beck and all these goddamn wrestlers. That's all they are. And then, of course, you got, Jesse Ventura thrown in the mix, and he's hanging out there in the mix, too. Oh, and by the way, I got to say, I like to have fun, joke around on this show, too, and stuff. And I think that's good to do and not to keep yourself too uptight in here. But I don't know what it is over on Oracle, man. There's like, and it's not just one show I've heard this on like 20 shows over there since I left that network in 2009 when I realized what a fucking sinking ship it was. And it indeed has turned out to be the sinking ship I indeed thought it was almost 2 years ago now. There's this obsession over there with taking, with doing soundboard calls, where you take somebody's pre-recorded thing and you make it sound like you're having a conversation with them. I thought that stuff, personally, I thought that stuff was relegated only to the fringes of, morning drive time radio, with these ass clowns they put on, you know what I'm talking about, right? On Clear Channel type radio, drive time in the morning. They put all these clowns, basically the people who all want to be Howard Stern. You know what I mean? Like Howard Stern was great. He was original when he came out. And then after that, he just, he bred this whole subculture of bullshit, much in the same way Alex Jones has. And all the watered down crap has just sucked after that. Well, there seems to be some rash of people on Oracle who, I don't know, who feel the need to engage in this. It's just, it's rookie night, man. It's amateur night at the Apollo stuff. Where they're acting like Alex Jones is calling into their show mad and all this stuff, Jesse Ventura. It's like you wasted all that airtime on a network where you already have limited talk time anyway because of all the goddamn commercials and all the goddamn advertisements. So that, certain people and only certain people alone line their pockets while, the hosts are left to fucking squander and fry and starve to death. That happens on every network. And, I just think it's, I don't know. I don't know if Lee is paid attention to this or know this is going on in his network, but I have to say, Lee, if you don't know what I'm talking about, and what shows I'm talking about, then, get with me if you're listening to this broadcast later and I'll tell you. But, I got to say this, if he doesn't know what's going on, he needs to find out, because if you don't know it or not, Lee, I got a message for you. You got people over there on your network that are doing the same goddamn shit Alex Jones does. And I don't know about you, but I love Lee Rogers and I'll do anything for the guy and I always want to go on his show and it's a great opportunity for me to get it out. But I got to tell you, man, I'm to the point where I'm almost don't want to tarnish my name going on that network anymore. Because it's reduced itself to just such a level of just of no sort of integrity at all. No integrity whatsoever. And there's another show that wants me to come on with them, and I'm going to do that because I've already told them I would, and I will. But there's a part of me. All that talk time, all that time you're using, and I've heard 2 or 3 shows, not just one, 2 or 3 shows over there where they're doing that. Staging to act like somebody's calling in and all this stuff, and it's like, couldn't you use that time to, get out some more info or use that to talk about some other topics? It's exactly what it is. It's the same thing. It's the same infotainment horse shit model that Alex Jones puts out. And you got these people that try to act like they're on our team or your team or, or anything else. And then what happens is they appear to be, or they say that they're against Alex Jones or anti-Alex Jones, but then their behavior and the things that they do and the retarded stuff they do like that makes them look like they're with us and we're with them, and one is the same just because we don't like Alex Jones. And I got to tell you, I'm not with that either. And, to see it going on really, for me, is unfortunate. Why don't you spend that time exposing some of the information, the voluminous amounts of information that's out there against Alex Jones, instead of staging something that makes it appear that he called into your show or something. And don't give me that, oh, we were just having fun bullshit. You know exactly what you were doing. So there's people over there on that network doing the same shit that Lee Rogers and everybody, and myself call out Alex Jones for. With the hypocritical nature of the things I've experienced over there, and I experienced a big time hypocritical thing over there. I've talked about it before on the show when I was doing the show over there. If that's kind of stuff that's going on over there, man, that's really a lot of bullshit. Oh, I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't give a damn about that. I don't care. Do I think Jones was going to be the replacement for Bill Cooper? No. No, I don't believe that for a second. Bill Cooper was sort of a rogue agent. He started exposing a lot of the stuff didn't line up with a lot of the stuff. And he was getting very close to where he never said the CMP by name, but he was getting very close. He was talking about a lot of those same factions. I think that it was a strategic move. Period, point blank. It was a hit. They had to eliminate Cooper before they could open the doors and swing the doors wide open for Jones, because with Cooper in the way, Jones would never have been able to launch the operation he's launched now in the way he has effectively. The CMP would never have been able to launch what they have now. They didn't see me coming. Because when I first came into this, I was, very much in the brainwashed patriot movement as well. Hell, I won first place in Alex Jones' 9/11 Truth video contest in 2007, folks. I got $1,000 check with the enchiladas big signature on it. Boy, nothing will ever be sweeter than that. I got to tell you, skydiving at 30,000 feet while getting a blowjob on acid would not even be as good as cashing a check with the fat fuck's name on it. That was beautiful. Orgasmic. Because I put it right back into the ops. It eventually fucking exposed his whole operation. My God. Now, is that beautiful poetry or what? That is just poetic justice, isn't it? That $1,000 that came from that boy's op went right back up his ass. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. My goodness. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Let's see what else we have here tonight. I wanted to get through a good part of this news, even though there's not a lot of it. Hey, anybody else with me think that this is a interesting time for this to be happening? It's from the Daily Mail. Scientists to drill 5 miles down. First journey to below the Earth's crust will go deeper than ever before. Researchers plan to tunnel through solid rock to Earth's mantle. It may not be quite journey to the center of the Earth, but it's the closest we've come yet. A team of British-led researchers are to drill down to the Earth's mantle for the first time and bring back samples. The incredible feat would involve tunneling through 5 miles of solid rock on the seabed and temperatures as high as 570 degrees. Did you guys ever see that movie, The Core? Wasn't Old Horse Teeth in that? Actually, not Old Horse Teeth. Old Horse Teeth 2, Electric Boogaloo. What's her name? Boys Don't Cry. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? Big old horse teeth. Why the fuck does George Costanza keep popping up in the middle of my article? Seinfeld pop-ups on fucking Daily Mail? That's bizarre. Anyway, yeah, The Core. What was the plot of that movie? Wasn't it that they had to that they had to go down to the core of the Earth to reset the Earth's core or something like that? Because it was causing earthquakes and volcanoes and all that shit. Wasn't that Oh, no, not Natalie Portman. Hilary Swank. There you go. Hilary Swank, yes. But that was essentially that was the plot of the movie, and I think that there was me and some of our chatters one night not too long ago. We're having a conversation about that movie, The Core, and we were talking about how hey, did anybody else but me think that that's a little bit odd about this movie, The Core? And then now, lo and behold, here's this. The Core, I guess, is now become a reality. I mean, everything that's science fiction eventually becomes reality, doesn't it? Yeah, to get it spinning again. That's what it was. It was slowing down. It was causing the Earth to die, and they had to go in there and restart it before. So there's this Daily Mail article. My goodness, it looks like they're actually going to be doing that. Why the fuck does George Costanza keep popping up in the middle of my page? And it's George Costanza with his shirt off, by the way. God, I don't want to see that. I met him one time, though. He's actually a really cool guy. It says once there, the pressure on the equipment would be a staggering 4 million pounds per square inch, 285,000 times out of normal gravity. The scientists hope to take samples and get them back up to the surface so we can learn more about the origins of the planet. The bold plan mimics the classic 1959 sci-fi Journey to the Center of the Earth. By the way, they're coming out with a new Journey to the Center of the Earth in 3D. In which Pat Boone leads a group of adventurers who venture down an Icelandic volcano into the bowels of our world. Well, isn't that interesting? So in the original, I didn't realize that. In the original, Pat Boone is in the original Journey to the Center of the Earth. My goodness, he's in the Council for National Policy. There's a clip where he's like, I think it's time for Pat Boone to meet Moon. And they bring in like Reverend Sung Young Moon and shit. Oh, it's as gay as you can get. Isn't that interesting, though? Huh. Because I don't think anything's a coincidence anymore. Pat Boone, CMP priest class, bloodline, my God. So he was the guy that restored, and then this just happens to be happening now. Oh man, this is one of my favorite things to have a picture of. We're scroll down to the middle to the bottom of the article that I posted in there, and look at the very bottom. I'll try to pull this up and put it in the chat. It's one of my favorite things. Every time I tell people about these, they say that I'm making it up and it's not real. And that, what are you talking about? Because when people, and even adults, when people don't know about things, they don't know that they exist. I can't remember who it was, but somebody one night I was talking about these deep underground nuclear drillers they have. They're these giant, they dig tunnels like CERN and stuff like that, and they're deep underground. And I got a picture of one here at the bottom of this. That's what they look like. Look at the scale. Look at the guy next to it. Those are nuclear power. They can bore through solid rock. That's how they create the underground tunnels in the underground base network. It's with those right there. That's how they build it. They can tunnel for miles and miles and miles, and it carves straight through solid rock, and they can build infrastructure that is as big around as that device is. And if you see how small the man standing in front of it is, you get an idea of just how big. Yeah, they crystallize stone. Just how big the thing is, and I think that could be another. We just don't know how far underground their tunneling networks go now. I mean, for all best intents and purposes that we know of, they stretch all around the world. Who knows how massive they are? Unbelievable stuff. Let's see here. What else do we have tonight? Like I said, we don't have a whole lot of news. I do have a few emails I think I need to go through here in just a bit, so we'll do that after the break in just a minute. But we do have a couple more news stories, but we're going to take a break right now and come back, and then we're going to get into some more news. We'll go through some of the emails. Love to have your email tonight as well. globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. And I will do my best to read that on the air tonight. We're also going to be reading out of William Bramley's book, The Gods of Eden. We'll be continuing where we left off last week. Lots of show left tonight. I hope you... All right, back here with you on the Global Reality, right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. What's going on, Moonbats? How you guys doing tonight? Everybody doing all right? Everybody staying alive, staying up, being here with us tonight, and I hope you are. So thanks to you if you are. And if you're listening on a rebroadcast or later on, definitely thanks to you as well. This is our fundraising week for the show, and this is usually the week when we're trying to meet our goal for the month to pay the bills. And someone finished off our chip-in banner today. So thank you, donator. Thanks so much for helping to do that and finishing that off. So we'll have the bills paid this week, which is good, but we won't have, but the only thing is we're not going to have much left after that once the bills are paid. So, if you were going to make a donation and you were going to help us get the rest of the way on the chip-in banner, but now you feel that you aren't, or you shouldn't, or something else, because somebody else already did it. We still need the support. I'm actually in the process of getting a personal. It's going to be a private SSL encrypted chat room for the broadcast. And Mud Puppy actually had donated a week or two ago for that. And the reason I haven't gotten it up yet is because initially I thought it was like $50 to get it going, because it's like $50 a month or something after that, which is fine. We'll have it. It's going to be worth it, believe me, or $30 a month. But what I didn't realize is that the first time when you set it up, you have to pay like, I don't know, it's like a one-time setup fee for the additional features. And a lot of those are features like we're used to having, like the ability to post pictures and SSL encryption. But the cool thing is it's all going to be sign-ins. And so you guys will all have your own personal sign-in. Nobody can steal your name. Nobody can, have their IP deleted and then that affect you. That won't happen anymore. It'll give us total control, total privacy. All the messages will be encrypted. Nobody will be able to snoop or anything else like that. If anybody comes in and they have a sign-in name and it's a sign-in name I don't know and they're not talking, they're going to get booted. So, and see, we don't have that kind of flexibility and that kind of power with this. But anyway, I've got to pay another $50 to get that going. And I didn't realize that at first when I first signed up for it, had it going. So I thought it was going to be up by then, but as soon as I get that, we'll have that rolling. Then it's only going to be like $30 a month after that. But anyway, thanks so much to the person who got us the rest of the way, but we're going to kind of be short the rest of the time. So if you want to donate, use the donate button for that. I put a new chip-in banner up there for the month of April. But if you want to make additional donations for the films or for anything else, we didn't make your donation for the month to help us get the rest of the way, and you want to still chip in, do it that way. And it keeps us commercial free and uncensored and keeps the movies and everything growing and the music coming. And it's exciting times indeed. I'm also going to be going in business with a friend of mine. We're going to be because I do this in my spare time anyway. I've done this in my spare time. We were like, hey, why not, try to get more money for the operations stuff. We're going to be, my buddy's going to be, and I are going to be buying and selling vintage music gear, guitars and stuff like that we find and resell them and stuff. And he's putting up all the money, and I don't have to put up any money. All I got to do is just I'm in charge of the acquisitions and finding the stuff and then reselling it, and whatever we make, I get half of, and that'll go back into our operations as well. So that's another cool thing. I'm doing it with my buddy I've known since I don't know, 6th, 7th grade. I think I've known him almost my whole life, but we're going to be doing that, and he's got it all on paper already and got it down as a legit business and is and stuff like that. So that's gonna be awesome once we get that going. It'll take us a while to get that going. It's by no means it's going to be anything immediate, but he wants to buy some land and stuff like that for his family, and we're trying to do things where we can get more, have more legit ways and that we can get extra cash in to shove right back up these motherfuckers' asses, and ways that we can do more bigger things. Because I eventually want to get this program to the point where we can, afford to do things like have a new dig for the rock wall. I mean, I'm thinking big here with this, guys. I'm not thinking small. And I'm tired of thinking small. I'm thinking, I can only do this because I only have this much money. Every time I think bigger, and I've only started doing this since I've been doing this show, every time I've thought that my ideas and my goals, that I've set bigger goals than I have the immediate resources to obtain. The only time in my life I've ever done that has been since I've been doing this, even before I started my show. But ever since I started my show, I've been setting my goals for what I want to achieve to be higher than what I have on hand, and then using the power of manifestation and focusing, concentration, and energy, and the intent. Intent is a big thing. The universe knows what your intent is, regardless of if you tell one living soul. It doesn't matter. The universe knows by your energy and what you're putting out what your intent is, and that's what's going to reflect back to you. So if you have a bad intent or a negative intent, you're going to get the negative stuff back on you. But when you have a positive intent and you're putting that positive intent in the world, the universe will reflect that back on you with the resources you need to obtain what it is that you want to do. And so ever since I've done that, and I've done that certainly with making the newest film, The Secret Ride Volume 2, that's why it's taken so long. Because for the first time in my life, I haven't just settled for something. All my other films I've made so far, guys, I settled on those. And I want this movie to be done. I want it to be out just as bad as you do. Believe me, I want you to see this thing. But for the first time in my life, I'm trying to have patience, and I'm trying to make something be better than it would be if I just did it like I've done everything else in my life up to this point, which is just, throw it out there, warts and all, just to have it out there. That's what I've always done. And I've been really, it's a huge lesson for me. It's one of those things it's hard to describe. It's hard to even talk about right now, because it's so personal. It's hard to even talk, but it's the truth, and sometimes, because people donate money and they want results. They want to see stuff right now. And so it's hard for them, because I understand it, I see the point. If somebody was to say that my own, personal growth and learning through my work is not their problem or not important to them, that could be justified. But the fact of the matter is, folks, that me doing this and taking my time on this movie and making it be exactly everything that I have envisioned in my head that it could be, and not settling for anything less than that, is a big step for me and a big lesson thing for me that I'm really trying to follow all the way through to the end. You understand what I mean? Because this is a journey for me too. This is every day I'm learning and I'm acquiring more knowledge, and I'm shifting the way around. I think again, you have to change yourself first. You have to change before you want to change the world or change anything about it. You have to be able to change those things about yourself that are imperfect. And nobody's striving for perfection. That's a lie. It doesn't exist. But you have to be able to recognize the things and the shortcomings of yourself, and not even fix all of them. No one's asking you to do that either. Nobody's asking me to do that. I'm not asking myself to do that either. But I do try to identify those things and work around in the framework of that. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with this film. And that's why it's taken, longer than I expected, because I'm not just going to throw it out there and then a year from now wish I would have taken my time. If I would have taken my time and actually took about a year longer on the first Secret Ride than I did, the movie would have been 100 times better than it was. But I still think it's a great primer, and the first film made on the subject. You can't take that away from me. That's mine. It'll forever be mine. And that's all there. So I'm proud of that. But it's just one of those weird things that it's very hard to describe to people, because this is this whole experience since I've been on air and I've been making films has been a very life-changing thing for me. It's very hard to describe and very hard to put into words. And I'm small potatoes, but still been a life-changing experience, because I've still experienced things that are, and seeing the universe work in ways that I never saw it work before I started doing things for the right intent. As I've talked about before, I'd pretty much given up music and playing music because I got into this type of stuff. But then I realized that playing music or anything else was never the problem. What the problem was is that my intent behind playing the music was the problem. And then once that shifted and once that changed, and the intent for playing music was to, get information out and to be an extension of doing this, but yet at the same time having an artistic outlet and being able to play an instrument on stage in front of people and have regular shows and all this stuff and be working on an album and all that. That's another thing we got to do. We got to get the Demigods back in the studio soon. Like cash for that. But that's, once you realize that, oh, wow, the intent once the intent changes, the results change. That's an absolute fact. And I'm starting to lean towards that being a universal absolute as well. I think it's a universal absolute. I think it is. I think that whatever your intent is going to be reflected back. The results are going to be reflected back from whatever that intent is. And again, regardless of whether or not you tell another living soul what your intent of something is, see, people think that if they have intentions to do something or, be conniving or whatever it may be, I don't know, that if nobody knows it but them, then they won't suffer any negative consequences of that. And that's just not true. If you try to approach people or take advantage of people and do things in that, and I don't believe in karma, I don't think it's karma either. Karma is another one of those phony new age hijack terminologies that has tried to condense the law of opposites, the law of attraction, or the law of attraction. They've condensed it down into the whole karma thing. I think it's more of the intent is more under the guise. I don't think it's karma. I like to refer to it as, again, whatever you put out, you're going to reap what you sow. That's where that term comes from. You put shit out, you're going to get shit in return. And that's one of the things that, I see people have a problem. Well, a lot of people, I don't know. And I hope that people don't think this about me. And I know that they don't, because I've explained myself and people know where I stand on it. But a lot of people don't like Lee Rogers because, I don't know. They think that he has some sort of negative vibe or negative energy in the way that he puts out the stuff. And I don't agree with that just because I've met the guy. And if you have, just like me, if you hadn't met me, you could make assumptions about me like we were talking about earlier. Just because I like Rush, I'm supposed to like AC/DC. That's insulting. That really is insulting, I have to say. Get to know me, man. Get to know who I really am. And you really, really might be shocked by who I really am if you really take the time to get to know me. And the people that have taken the time to get to know me, they go like, oh, okay, I get it now. But, same thing with Lee Rogers. If you've never met him, you're not going to get the guy. I promise you the guy doesn't do anything that he does with any sort of negative intentions or negativity at all. He has the best intention. He's just intense. It's just the way it is. It's his personality. We were all fucking up. We went to this big 4th of July get together in 2008 with TrueNet Radio. It was me. Basically all of us guys ended up starting Oracle. Me and Doug Owen and Lee and Michael Vale and Mike Chambers and Rob Chowda and Joel Bissett. And we all went up to fucking bumfuck Oklahoma for the weekend at Mike's place and for 4th of July. I think we finally got Lee to have a couple of drinks one night. But we all got to the first night and we just, we were all rock starred out. We were all fucking enthralled with each other because we're like, I was like, oh crap, that's Mike Chambers, oh crap, that's Doug Owen. And they were like, oh my God, look, man, that's Josh Reeves. We were just kind of, and then we proceeded to just get absolutely fucking hammered. And we were getting hammered till like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we were like up at like 7 when the sun came up because we're sleeping in tents and it's like 100 degrees outside and mosquitoes everywhere. And that motherfucker Lee Rogers is in there at 7 o'clock in the morning. Guys, come on, let's go. We got to gather news. Come on, let's go. And he's like making me and Doug and Vale like gather news at like 7 a.m. We're fucking still drunk, dude. Like slobbering still. Oh, I'm fucking still drunk. Lee's in there like fucking cracking the whip. 7 a.m. Come on, motherfuckers, let's go. It's not negativity, man. He's just intense. That's just how he is. So, but I see people do that, and it kind of I've seen people make that comment about Lee and stuff on chat boards and stuff. Again, it's just, if you don't get to know somebody and you don't meet them in person, you don't really get to see what their vibe's about. You can't, You can't make those kind of assumptions about people. And I think that I've stated clear many times here on this show when it comes to Alex Jones and all those people, I don't have any hatred towards those people at all. I have a problem with the people they work for, with the powers they serve. I have the problem with the people that they lie to people while appear to be telling the truth, not giving people the whole truth. Those are things I have a problem with. I bet in some weird fucking universe that me and Alex Jones could sit down at a fucking table and pull a beer up and not even talk about info, or maybe talk about info or whatever, and probably fucking enjoy each other's company, and that would be that. And then we go on air, maybe hate each other. I mean, that's the whole thing. I don't have any, not that that's ever going to happen, because fuck that guy. But that's the truth. But what I'm saying is, the honest to God truth is, I don't have any hatred or there's no negative energy that I feel towards these people, except for the fact that they are lying about things that are going to get people killed. And so I can't view them as anything but the enemy. But at the same time, you'd never hate your enemy. I don't hate my enemy. You don't. Hatred is not an emotion you have towards your enemy. Someone being your enemy is only because of it is to me, that all of the evidence that you can pile up supports that whoever the person that has been deemed the enemy is serving the forces of evil. And I think at this stage in the game, we have voluminous amounts of evidence, ladies and gentlemen, that supports the fact that Alex Jones and the phony patriot movement, the phony truth movement, the John Birch Society, the Jesuits, the priest class, they are serving evil, and they are serving the system to which we all thought we were getting involved in all of this stuff to fight. So that's the problem. I don't have any, that ad hominem stuff is just retarded, personal attacks on people and their looks or their weight or their voices or anything else, all that stuff. They do that to me. They do that to Jones. I do that sometimes. He does that. So, but at the end of the day, the real issue here with all of this stuff is not about, it's not about what, any of us personally think. It's the fact that if you are denying this information at this point, then you are walking yourself blindly right into somebody's trap that they've laid for you. And they have got us putting them, we've all done, they got us putting the trap bumper stickers on our cars. But that's what they're there to do, folks. And again, intent. I think that anybody listening, whether or not they like Alex Jones or don't like him or are aware of his information or don't, can listen to one broadcast of this guy and tell what his intent is. And to me, that should be the number one defining thing that should turn you off about the guy. You could tell immediately from listening to him that his intent is fear. His intent is confusion. His intent is to get you enraged. And his intent is to sell you things. Negative, 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 negative. But yet they've tricked all us, because that's the kind of magicians they are. They tricked all us into believing that following Alex Jones and the phony patriot movement, truth, and everything else was positive, positive, positive. Why? Because you're exposing the New World Order. That's a positive. You're exposing 9/11 being an inside job. That's a positive. You're exposing global government. You're a part of a group. You're a part of the revolution. Positive, positive, positive. But those positive results are coming to them from the point of a negative response, but they've used their hand symbols and their insignias and all of their brainwashing media techniques to convince the followers that the results of them being brainwashed by this negativity is producing positive results for them and for their country or their cause or anything else. You see how this works? We got to start understanding what these magicians are really up to. And they are magicians. And don't think for a second they aren't, because they are. And when you think they're not, that's when they got you. That's what this stuff is really all about, folks. And I'd like to go to some emails here tonight. Let's see what I've got. I've got several that have come in. And by the way, thank you to the young lady who was sending me the anagrams over the weekend. I had a girl who was sending me some different anagrams, different things that I sell. I said like that old cunt Lindsey Williams or something last week, and she made a bunch of anagrams out of me saying that old cunt Lindsey Williams had different words. It was pretty funny, actually. So thanks to her for sending those. That was very entertaining, and I appreciate your correspondence. Let's see here. Everybody's saying I should get Ralph Epperson on, even though I kind of feel like, I shouldn't bother, but everybody's saying I should. Oh, by the way, Nick, if you're listening, you asked me if you wanted me to recontact Bramley about coming on. I was going to say, since you already talked to him or whatever, you should go ahead and just contact him back. And I think you said something about April 18th, which would be a Monday. Just find out what time is good for him. Afternoon, evening. I'm not going to make him come on here and do Moonbat shit, but I'll do the show, in the evening time. I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock or something like that. Maybe 5 o'clock. Maybe try to set him up for 5 o'clock Central on the 18th. And we'll just go from there. I think it'd be the best way to do it. Kind of a not too early, not too late type show, and just do a special broadcast. But yeah, the 18th sounds good on that. I just want to go ahead and let you know that. Sometimes I have to say stuff over air because, like I was talking about earlier, sometimes when things are said in the chat room, but they go back and forth between the chat room, they just don't come across as well when you're typing. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Here's one from Girl. It says, I've been reviewing the hypothesis that Japan was targeted preemptively as a way of sending a not so subtle message to others. The preemption of starting wars without letting the enemy know may be thought of as sneaky or deceptive, but it also has to be understood from a humanitarian standpoint. No benevolent master wants to stampede his cattle and needlessly generate panic unless it is done for sensible reasons. It is typically only done when it suits a specific purpose or set of circumstances, but some tyrants become arrogant, reckless, and extremely dangerous, even suicidal. Preemption almost always has a much higher degree of risk, since the one initiating the motion may also be exposed first as a target. If the adversary already knows or has guessed the intention to preempt in advance, or the adversary is well prepared for an attack, then the preemption typically backfires. Blowback is the term of art that they like to use excuse me, for that situation. Unintended consequence. Yuck. That's so weird. The same exact thing happened to me last night at the same exact time. I'll talk a bit about that in a minute too. Whew. It says that blowback is the term they often like to use for that situation, unintended consequences or unforeseen ones. At the extreme opposite of the spectrum from preemption is the strategy of passive-aggressive behavior or passive noncompliance. This is what most people are equipped to implement effectively, most of the time in the realm of everyday life, and in those circumstances, it takes the least amount of resources or effort. Other times, passive resistance of noncompliance can be extremely costly, dangerous, or even fatal. Fortunately, we have not yet descended to that Dungeons and Dragons level of fully functioning police state yet, so awesome email there from Girl. Thank you so much for that one. Hello, Josh. I've really enjoyed your reading of the Gods of Eden. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed it myself. We're going to do that again here tonight. I have liked it so much that I have ordered my own copy, and you can play anything you want. Come on the air when you're ready. It's your network, and you call the shots. I get all that you're talking about. You have my attention and my frequency. So that's from Gary there. So thank you, Gary. Appreciate that, man. Good to have you listening. Let's see. Oh, somebody asked me if they could upload my material to their YouTube channel, and I guess people aren't aware. You can use any of my stuff for any of your own purposes, whatever you want to do, as long as you give me credit for it. If you want to upload to your YouTube channel or cut out stuff and put it in a film, as long as you let people know that it came from me and plug my website or whatever, then I have no problem with that. So just wanted to put that out there so people can do whatever they want to with it. This one I'm not going to read entirely on air, although I'm tempted to because, well, it says that this is a personal email for me, I guess, which means that, not for me not to read on the air, but he didn't say not to read it on the air, but it's a great email. It's from VK. VK, you know who you are. I got to tell you, VK, it's kind of difficult for me to, well, it would be almost impossible for me to be able to type an accurate rebuttal or an accurate return for you on this email by typing it. So I don't really see anything here that I wouldn't want my listeners to hear or know about. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this because I kind of feel it's the only way I can I can really do this on air. It really addressed this properly. If I try to type it back, it wouldn't come back, and it is important. So, and I have experienced a bit of this, so we'll talk about it here. It says, I just wanted to write you and give you my personal opinion on what is going on right now. I feel you have quite a few people watching you, and you are on their radar, and I feel that some of them are sending you bad mojo through the ether, consciously or unconsciously. You may be aware of this already. Yeah, I am aware of that. I do keep myself pretty well protected in many ways, both material and non-material. I do have a lot of positive energies and crystals and things like that keep certain energies away. But I have to tell you, the one time I did notice this happening, and I haven't noticed it ever, I stopped noticing as soon as I left the network. And I got to tell you, this honest to God truth, this person's bringing this up, so I'll bring it up and talk about it. This honest to God truth, there are people who are still listening to the show right now. Some of you maybe be in the chat room that can verify this for me and tell people in the chat room that this is absolutely the truth. I'm not lying about this. I'm not making this up. Honest to God, man, when I was on Oracle, I would say probably it seemed like it happened a lot of the time when I was on Oracle, but I would say probably in the last 7 or 8 months I was on Oracle back in 2009. Every day during my show, I felt like they were, I'd just get angry. I'd get mad. I'd get raw, and I'd start screaming and yelling. I'd go off. And as soon as my show would end, my show would be over. It's like I'd come out of this head state, and I wouldn't be in that head state anymore. And I think that for the longest time, because I was going on 11 to 4 every day or 11 to 3 every day up against Jonesy. We took his big FM flamethrower around KTAE down in Central Texas off of him. They put me up there on the show. I mean, I was becoming a big threat to Jones during that time. And I think that, I think that during that time somebody was maybe doing some sort of psychic attacks or something like that on me. I am aware of that. And I am aware that people do try to do that. Yeah. And do try to take as many steps as I can towards, negating the effects of that. But I'm pretty strong. I saw this black figure walk up in the rain one night. I don't know whether it was a demon or what it was. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And I was not on drugs, and I was not high, and I was not drunk. I was stone cold sober, and I was about to go to bed. And it was raining outside, and I looked down on the porch, and I saw this black figure, like a shadow of a person. And it sat, kind of kneeled down like it was going to be, like it was smoking a cigarette, and it looked at me. And it's the only thing I've ever seen in my life that I could say quantifiably may be considered a demon. But this thing looked at me, I looked right through me and I looked right at it and I just go, fuck off. And it stood up and it just disappeared into the rain. And that was right after I left Oracle. I think right around the time, right after I left Oracle, right before, right, real close to that time. So yeah, I'm aware. I mean, they sent phony state troopers to my former residence last year, you know, and tossed the place looking for me. And then of course the investigation went all the way up to the tip top of the heads of the state troopers in the state of Texas, and they had no record of this thing ever happening. You know, Blackwater guys, I guess, dressed as state troopers, man. It's, you know, so I'm quite aware, but you know what? Again, it's all with intent. And, because I know that I put out and I do everything that I do in my life is with the right intent. There is nothing they can ever do or say about me or try to, smear my name with that will ever matter. They can make up all manners of lies about me that they want in the future when I become more of a threat to them. They can call me everything but a motherfucker. And none of it will ever matter, even if everybody believed it or everybody bought into it. None of it will ever matter because I know that the things that I have put out have been with, and everything that I do is with the right intent. And in the end, no matter what they do with me and my physical body, that is going to be an unchangeable fact. So let me continue with this email here. Dealing with this type of psychic assault and attacks is my daily bread in a way, and I just wanted to make you aware of this because since you and your show are getting more exposure, you are becoming more of a target, therefore. This might sound very personal. I do not mean to invade your privacy, but two of the main ways of the magical power elite get their enemies, us, is through seduction and infiltration, not direct physical assault. That is only their last resort. Through what I term money monster and porn player energies. It's basically the good old sex, drugs, and rock and roll seduction concept, but just expressed through different words and terms. I wrote a short article on this dynamic that might be helpful to you. I don't mean to be paranoid, but I have forgotten for about 2 weeks that these powers and groups are planning to take you down through these money monster and porn player energies. Well, I'd have to say that would be very impossible to do because, number one, I don't want anything. There's nothing in the material realm they can buy me off with. I don't want cars. I don't want fancy houses. I don't want, nice clothes and all this horse shit. I mean, there's nothing that the only thing that I ever need money for is just the basic survival elements and to acquire more room. I mean, you understand, my studio, my bedroom, and the Demigod's rehearsal space is one thing. I don't think you can get any more efficient than that. You know, it's not like I have an office or a complex or anything here. I mean, we have a house, and in my room is the studio, you know, the recording studio, the jam room, my bedroom, all wrapped into one. It's one thing. And I'm fine with that. I'm more than happy with that. It's great. And I expressed to the audience when I had moved a little over a year ago now, but exactly a year ago now, that was the case, and that was why, we were going to need more support every month and stuff like that, because we're actually moved. Before it was, I was living with my brother and his girlfriend and their newborn child in an old beat up trailer house. That's where I was doing the show and doing all my work, out of an old trailer house with holes in the floor for the past 3 years up until now. And was fine with that. But slowly I've, been able to work and work up over the course. Now that I've done this for 4 years, and now I'm at the point where, wow, I have a room that's the jam room and the studio, and that's my bedroom, and it's all in one. And, I don't have $1 million house in Austin or a big complex or anything. This is it. And this is where I do my work, and I'm happy with that. And it's, it's relatively low cost. So, that's that. You don't have to worry about that, my friend. I live a very, very meager means, and I have for a very long time because I figured out a long time ago how to whittle myself down to only the few things that I need. The only thing that I ever really need on a regular basis is caffeine, nicotine, and caffeine, nicotine, and food. Pretty much it. So yeah, you're not going to worry about that, my friend. They're not going to be able to get me with their money monster energy thing. That's not what I'm about. The fact that we're growing to the point that we are has been a result of the fact that the intent has been the right way. I think I answered a lot of these questions inadvertently tonight with some of the stuff I talked about in the broadcast. Save up money that you have some backup in case donations don't come in as expected. If you feel you need to buy new or improved equipment, always meditate on it, really necessary, or if funds could be invested better somewhere, or save for later times. Also, what I'm getting at is if people ask to borrow money from you because they know you have more cash available, probably do not lend right now because I feel the global reality needs to be protected financially. I don't have money to lend to anybody for anything. I get in what I get in for the films and for the shows and everything else. And, we spend $10,000, $20,000 on putting out a film and, make $700 back on that. Barely cover the cost of the DVDs to have them pressed. And then smile and continue on. And go on to whatever the next project is. That's what I've done. That's what I continue to do. You always want to. You always wish you had more resources to do bigger and better things. I do. That's the only reason I ask people to support our work, is so that they can see the fruits of that come to fruition if they're patient like I am. And those people that donate and support us, they learn patience too through me. And through seeing, after the results of, 7 or 8 months or a year, they say, oh, that's how it was when people saw The Secret Right after, because the same thing happened when I made that. It came out way later than I wanted it to, even though I still rushed it out and didn't do a lot of things more perfectly than I wanted to. But that was still the same thing. When people saw that, and it was a jump from 9/11 New World Rising, and people saw what a jump in the filmmaking had taken from that. That's when people were like, "Oh, okay. Well, I get now why it was, what you were doing and everything else." And that's really where the reward comes. Is when you see the results of what you donated to make happen, and you see that, and I see that, then I see your reaction. Oh, it's just magic. There's no amount of Federal Reserve notes in the world that can buy that feeling. Just like when I showed my first movie in a theater, and people were sitting in a theater watching my movie, eating popcorn, and William Rodriguez is there, and he's jumping every time explosion goes off. I mean, you couldn't buy that experience. And it's something I'll always take with me and always cherish and remember, that moment when people were in a theater watching something on a gigantic screen, in a theater I used to go to as a kid to see movies at. A theater my grandparent or my parents grew up going to when they were kids, That was a big thing. And that's, those are the kind of things that I like. Money can't buy those moments like that. And it's moments like that, many moments like that I've had as a result of doing this radio show. And it didn't require money to get it there. It just required that I was doing this. And that's why I do it. It's for those times, for those moments, for those that when you reach somebody. You know how amazing that is when you reach somebody, and we reach people. I reach people, and I hate to have to say that and admit it to myself, because I have no ego. And I feel the times when I do even say that we're doing well with the show and reaching people, that I just cringe even saying it, because I never want people to think that it's ego driven for me at all, because it's not. But at the same time, you do have to give yourself credit when you're doing. My God, we reach people. When I first started talking about the Council for National Policy, nobody wanted to hear about it. Nobody wanted to hear anything I talked about it at all. And now look at it. It's become a part of the conversation. It's become a part of the language. You and me and all the people that have supported my work and everything through the years, have been responsible for that. And the things we're going to continue to do are going to make that look weak. Oh, you don't even know. I mean, my God, the stuff I got planned next is going to make that look weak. It's so fucking on. So on. Now, the second thing is about the porn players. Uh-oh. Josh Reeves, starring in Bone Alone 2, The KY Connection. Oh, this is good. Before I even go there, sir, last time I had a girlfriend, the Twin Towers were still standing. That's a fact. Don't think you'd have to worry about me succumbing to the feminine wiles of women. Believe me. I know guys. I ain't gonna name no names out there. You know who you are. I do know guys who have gotten laid and are getting laid on a regular basis as a result of doing this stuff. But I, however, am not. The radio show does not add any sort of additional sprinkling on the top of the cupcake for the women's want to fuck me. I know it's a shock. I mean, I play drums too, but I get no groupies. So, yes, I do have a lot of female fans, but I think that there's probably only a very small percentile of those that would have sex with me. So I think you implying that I'm going to be seduced by the feminine wiles of some crazy fembot New World Order, Oh, look at her. She's got the librarian glasses on. Oh, it's just what I like. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's got Machiavelli the Prince in that stack. Oh my God. Is that David Rockefeller's memoirs? See? Oh shit. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Oh no, Jesus Christ. She's wearing a fuck the NWO shirt. Oh my God, my dick is hard. Is that what you're implying? They're gonna say. Well, you know what? Stranger things have happened. So be aware of the sexy, informed librarian glasses looking fembots that may come into your life, Josh, because they may come after you. Yes, I'm quite aware. Kim Kardashian's after me? Oh, I hope not. I wouldn't fuck her with your dick, Costax. Okay, let's just say that. Let's continue on here with the email. It says that this is pretty obvious. Stay awake and aware of the ladies that come into your life. Again, I answered that question already. There aren't any that come into my life. They might be sending female agents into your life to distract you from your mission and to cause havoc in your life. Unwanted pregnancy, STD infection, or a Julian Assange style rape and abuse scenario. That shit, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? Y'all know that shit was a lie. Some recording coming out, me like, hitting a bitch or something, some audio recording. You like that, bitch? Huh? You like that? I'm like, come on. Come on now. Did I call her a dumb cunt at all in that audio? No. So that's why it's not me, because that's what I would have said. I'm kidding. This is the very tricky part, because in the beginning it's all good and it feels good to have female attention, but it could turn into a nightmare. Look, man, no offense, and I know you're coming with this with the best intentions, and I'm not trying to make fun of you by reading this or in any way, shape, or form talk down to you at all, because I think it's a great email. I wouldn't be reading it if I didn't think it was a great email, I'll tell you that. But I am 34 years old, about to be 35. I've been around the block 8, 10, 12, 15,000 fucking times. I'm aware of all the trappings, and I've been playing on stages. Been working been in the music scene half my life. I've seen every greasy 2-bit fucking, I know how to deal with yokos. In fact, I'm going to put that on my motherfucking band resume. That's going to be on my Demigods band description under where it says my name and drums and percussion. It's going to say, I know how to deal with yokos. Because I do. I know how to deal with a yoko. I could see a yoko coming a mile away. And just so you know, there are guy yokos too out there. Be aware of that. But the whole yoko thing is just it's sort of a meme for, the type. But yes, I'm aware of those. And I hang out with a lot of females and a lot of really awesome females. There's nothing sexual going on there, but I hang out with a lot of awesome females on a regular basis. And if I was going to quote unquote hook up with a chick, she'd have to be somewhere in that same sort of genre and area of the people I already hang out with. You know what I'm saying? Which is not really into material shit and didn't really care about money and is really only into the path and into info and whatever else. And so I'm really picky. I'm not at that, believe me, I've spent my entire fucking 20s fucking. My entire fucking 20s. I spent my entire fucking 20s fucking. Just and thank God I was always selective and still selective. So, you don't have to worry about me getting, entranced by some fembot. I want to make that crystal clear. I appreciate your thing. But again, this is great because this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. That's why I'm reading this email. That's why I think it's great. I love this email. Thank you so much for sending this, BK. I appreciate you so much for sharing this with me because he's getting to know me. You understand? By sending me this and me explaining where I stand on it, he's getting to know me. He's not making assumptions about me or assuming just because I like Rush, I like AC/DC too. He's sort of fleshing it out and I'm explaining. So this is why I couldn't do this in a return email. How am I going to type everything that I've already said? It's got to be something like that you say, one-on-one to somebody. And so that's why I'm doing it. So I just, I'm all I can do is just be honest with you and tell you exactly where I stand. But where I stand is that any of those things, I'm well past that. And I've got a great bullshit detector. You understand people can come into the chat room. Ask anybody that's a regular chatter in that chat room. They'll tell you this. Somebody can come in that chat room and I'll smell them if they're a troll or a fed or I will smell them within minutes of them entering. Even if they don't say anything negative at all. I'll already be on them motherfuckers. And then sooner or later, they'll expose them for what I assumed they were. And I'll ban them and everybody will go, yep, I knew it from the moment that motherfucker walked in. Same thing, People's intent is something that is oftentimes reflected in their vibrational field, in their vibe, in their energy. And when you become aware of that, you just like you have a nose for information, just like I can, put two and two together and connect the dots really well when it comes to information. You can, you start to develop a sixth sense from people's vibratory field, what their intent is. And it sucks actually to have that gift because then, you can't turn it off, and I have it all the time. And then I can't express that to people because how it is. Certain people, get a certain girlfriend or a certain boyfriend or whatever. And immediately you can tell from the moment when you meet them that they have a bad intention. But yet you can't say anything about that. Otherwise you're seen as, wrong or paranoid or an asshole or anything else. And so that is a very difficult thing, but it is something that I have dealt with. He says that again, Josh, I am not trying to invade your privacy with this letter, create fear, paranoia, etc. And I hope I was able to bring my points across in a productive way. I just have felt that for a while, this agenda against you and your work is going on, especially on an energetic level for now. Yeah, it's been that way. I've actually just become oblivious to it. It's been going on for so long. It's been happening VK, it's been happening to me since before I even started the show. Like I told you, that back in 2006 when Alex Jones, I'm going to make a video real soon because it's going to be in the Secret Right, but I'm also going to make, it's going to be the Secret Right Volume 2, but I'm also going to make a small clip and put just the clip that'll end up being in the film on YouTube as well. And it's going to be a video of me describing my experience on video, because I've never done this, of when I saw Alex Jones in 2006 at his Terror Storm event here in Dallas. Because like I said, that was when I was still a fan of him, and I just was standing there in line getting my beer, and I look over and he's sitting there glaring and huffing at me like a demon. He looked like a demon. And I was so freaked out by that and went home so freaked out by that and almost in such disdain, because I felt like I was, it feels like you're going to meet your hero or something, and he calls you a dick cheese and tells you to get the fuck out of here. But even worse than that, it was so bizarre to me. And that's why I know for a fact that we're dealing with entities and energies that are beyond what a lot of people who are into the truth and conspiracy stuff even understand yet. I think these energies knew ahead of time, well ahead of time, probably before I even knew it, the effect that I was going to have on people. Because again, when I first started in radio, I was go Ron Paul, go Alex Jones, go Truth Movement. And then the third show that I ever did, count them 1, 2, 3, and I have on Peter Dale Scott. He tells me about the CMP, and the rest is history. So since September 2007, I've been going hardcore on this, and all the way up until like a month before that, I was hardcore into the Alex Jones Patriot Movement stuff. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to convince me, man. I know for a fact, because I've experienced it, that this stuff is on a much deeper level, an energetic level. Again, David Icke. When I interviewed David Icke, I had a migraine so bad, a blinding migraine, after I got done interviewing David Icke in 2008 on the air, that I was sick to my stomach. Light was blinding to me. I felt like I'd had my energy drained. And at that time, I didn't know how to. It was the same thing as the experience I'd had with Alex Jones. I didn't know how to explain it, because at that time I was a David Icke fan. I love David Icke. I was just, oh my God, I was beside myself that we actually got him on. And but I couldn't deny that after it was over, that I felt as if I had my energy drained, as if he had drained my energy over the phone lines while we were doing the interview. It was insane. And the same thing, we went and saw him back in 2009. We went up to New Mexico to go see him. And they had these LCD screens on the outside of the casino where it was at, in the little hall room that said meet and greet, 7 o'clock. And Delphi and I were outside smoking a cigarette, and the lady who was putting this thing on came up and said, "Who are you guys?" And I told her my name, and then she was like, "Oh," and she was writing it down and stuff, and she was the woman who was putting on the thing, and she gave us some bullshit story that kids were trying to sneak in or something. And then he canceled the meet and greet and didn't come out. And during that, I felt that within 15 minutes when he started speaking at that, I felt the same way I did when I was on the phone, like he was draining or sucking my energy. So I believe David Icke is a psychic vampire. Now, I don't expect you to believe that, and I don't expect anybody else to believe that out there in the world. In fact, you don't have to believe me. I'm not telling you. I am simply telling you what my experience has told me. And 2 experiences with David Icke that have convinced me he is a psychic vampire, energetic psychic vampire of some kind. And, I mean, we're playing hardball here, folks. It's very hard for people to wrap their minds around who and what exactly we are dealing with, but we are dealing with forces and powers that are beyond what average people understand. This is a spiritual war going on, and we are right in the middle of it, and they are using their negative spiritual energies to be the harbingers of quote-unquote truth, yet bringing in negative energy and negative results. I don't know how much of it has manifested in the physical yet, and I just wanted to offer you my feedback and suggestions on the situation because I feel the global reality and you are a rare and authentic safe haven for truth seekers and conspiracy researchers, and my intent is to keep it that way and to protect you and the show. Right now, there is literally a spiritual war going on this planet, exactly what I just said. And in this dimension, and the weapons used by the controllers are very sophisticated and subtle, and often we recognize them when it is already too late. And a lot of damage has been done, and all we can do is just pick up the pieces and start fresh. My intent is to prevent this from happening by sharing this info. Amen, my friend. I'm right there with you. You might have heard this, but these people we are exposing are literally magi's and warlocks. It's not that I've heard it, my friend. I've researched it, and I know it for years. I mean, you just started coming, like I said, you just started really finding my show recently. You got to understand, man, all these people over here, they'll tell you, yeah, I'm quite aware of who these guys are. In fact, I've been one of the few people that have been exposing who these guys are, and probably the only host that has ever gone on air and said that we need to learn the secrets of the magicians and the secrets of these things and learn how to use what the magi's and the magicians and all this stuff know and use it with positive intent against them. I'm one of the few people I think that's ever said that we need to learn what these secret societies know and then learn these things and these ancient magical practices and use them for a positive result against the forces of evil. Because none of these things say they're intended to be used for evil or for good. What does it depend on? Yet again, what's the word of the night, the word of the show here? Intent. And again, I start to find more and more that intent is a universal absolute. Intent is one of those things that is key and essential in everything within the energetic universe. So I'm right there with you. They are so advanced and experienced in their metaphysical practices that they often do not need to move a finger or get their hands dirty physically to take out or ruin people like us if we are not aware or can protect ourselves from their magical assaults. That's true. Lee Rogers was reading Morals and Dogma on air one night, and he got all sorts of attacks. His screen flickered, one of his lights blew up or something, his monitor fried, and all kinds of crazy shit. I had to come on air with him for like the last hour or 30 minutes of his show and just help him ride the show out because it was so overwhelming to him. And I'm more susceptible, not as susceptible to it. Lee had never had any experience in the esoteric fields or the non-material realms of reality, and I've had a lot of experiences in that for years. So I'm a little bit more resilient to it, and it really affected him quite significantly. So I know they're doing it to guys like Lee and I for sure. They can just do it with their mind powers or by sending trolling or seductive psychopaths and what I call spider ladies. Women who do not have good hearts and are energy vampires. Boy, I tell you what, ooh, I cannot stand them. And I know one when I see one. And not to worry. I don't allow those to come anywhere near me. Agents of theirs into our lives and bring us down and create chaos and hell around us and to discredit us and our work. I don't have all the answers and could be wrong or off on certain issues too. So the best thing to do is go with your gut feeling and your own intuition on these things and just to be aware and awake of those possibilities and probabilities and see how they could already be in the future become a potentially destructive or dynamic force in your life and work. And although you take out a big chunk out of their negative attack potential and agenda directed towards you and your mission and your work. All the best to you, Josh, and thank you again and all your work you do exposing the malevolent magical power elite priest class, VK. So thank you so much, VK, there. Great email, and wanted to read that on the air. I got one more here before we take a break. We're going to come back and get into the gods of Eden. This is from Nick. Do you think that Freedom Force International is an offshoot of the John Birch Society? Isn't it interesting that Alex Jones and Jack Blood are both members and they allegedly despise each other? Yeah, the Freedom Force International thing, I mean, just Google that. Look at their logo. Look at the people that are in that. People need to learn how about tax breaks and setting up these groups that appear to be these, political groups. There's a lot of money in that, folks. There's a lot of money in starting. I mean, you get tax breaks, 501c3s, charitable groups. You can start groups like that and everybody gets kickbacks and tax breaks and everything else. I mean, you'd be a fool to think that that's not one of those. Look at the people that are in it. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I haven't wasted a lot of time talking about it because it just seems it just really seems like one of those groups that started so people can, have a tax shelter or make money some additional way. I don't know. Yeah, but look who's involved in it. That should tell you everything you need to know. So let's take a break, and when we come back from this break, we will continue our reading tonight from William Bramley's The Gods of Eden. We'll pick up where we left off last time, and we will get back into it. Should be all right. Back here with you on the Global Reality, right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thank you for being with us here tonight for another late night Moonbat edition. I got to tell you, you guys are hanging in there tonight. We've only lost a couple of listeners tonight, even though we're now moving into the 3 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time hour. And I got to hand it to you guys. That's pretty kick ass. You guys are fucking troopers. We only lose, 3 listeners going in this late night than what we've had the whole show. That's pretty awesome. So thanks to everybody out there for staying with us here tonight. And we're going to be getting back into William Bramley's The Gods of Eden here, picking up where we left off last week's show. So definitely strap in for that. We got one more email here. I have yet been convinced after 10, 12 years of listening that anyone has proved they can accurately translate Sumerian text tablets, period. Just a thought. Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. And that's, I think that's the whole point of talking about it is, if we don't talk about it and we don't read through the information, we just ignore it because that's what a lot of people do. And I think that's by design too. I think a lot of people say they realize that, Sitchin was a gatekeeper and they realized he was just there to provide some info, but not, it's classic, same op as Alex Jones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No different. But I think that also sometimes because people find that out, they just ignore that information altogether. And I think that's, if you look at it, exactly what they're trying to do now with Alex Jones and the phony truth movement and everything else. Is when you can associate the information with somebody who's a gatekeeper and associate the information with somebody who's a clown and not telling you the whole truth. And what that does is that gets people to just say, well, the information just must not be valid or important because, it's associated with this huckster. That's a by design operation. I think that they've done that same thing effectively with the Sumerian text and the rest of this stuff. But I think it is important to talk about and at least put out there what we do know about it. And, hopefully try to continue the knowledge base and try to push forward into gaining a better understanding about this stuff. So that's why I talk about it. That's why I feel it's important to read this book, and to have William Bramley on is going to be great, and can't wait to do that. So let's continue on here tonight. Bible believers still think that a supreme being is behind the vicious Machiavellian intentions described in the Bible. The ancient astronauts theory seems to provide a true breakthrough by pointing to a brutal technological society, not a supreme being, as the more likely source of such machinations. When people adhere to apocalyptic prophecies, they usually do so because they believe in predestiny. Predestiny is the idea that the future is already created and unalterable, and that some people have a special ability to see that future. Does predestiny really exist? For the sake of discussion, let us assume that it does, and at any given moment in the present, there is some future already created that is as solid and as real as any moment in the past or present. Perhaps time is not as linear as we have believed. If such a future already exists, does that mean that it is inevitable and must occur? No. And this is a key tenet of understanding, ladies and gentlemen, when you think about people who say, oh, well, the New World Order and global government and FEMA camps and all this stuff, well, it's just a foregone conclusion, so we just need to be ready and prepared for it. No, that's a lie. None of this stuff has to break out, but they want us to manifest it into being by believing that it will. That is another one of the major traps of Alex Jones and the phony truth movement. Here is a simple two-part exercise to illustrate this. Part 1, find a timepiece and note the time. Calculate what time it will be in exactly 30 seconds. Now decide exactly where you will be standing when that 30-second moment arrives. Watch the clock and be sure you are standing at the spot you choose. You have just created a prophecy and fulfilled it. Exactly. It was funny. This was when we first started the Demigods. It was a little over a year ago. And we'd gone to get, it was the night we wrote the song Moonbat Twist, and we went to got some tequila, and coincidentally enough, Cabo Wabo tequila there. And just as we were, heard Sammy Hagar, synchronicity. It was the night we wrote Moonbat Twist, and we were hammered on this stuff. And when I was at the store, I saw some cashews in the package by the gas station, so I got some up, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to get an extra package of these, because I know later when I break these out, Jamie and Delphi are probably going to want some of them. And so we were drinking, and the night was over and whatever, and I busted out these cashews, and they both kind of look over at me like, oh, you have cashews. And I just, as soon as they looked at me, I just screamed, the prophecy has been fulfilled. And so then we got in this argument, in this conversation about that. Delphi was saying that wasn't a prophecy. And I said, yeah, fuck yeah, it was a prophecy. I prophesized that we would be drinking, and after we were done, that I would pull out cashews, and you guys would want my cashews, so I got extras in case that happened. The prophecy has been fulfilled. So there you go. The prophecy has been fulfilled. Exactly. That's all it constitutes. But we wrap ourselves, our minds around these lies about what a prophecy is. You see? One of those priest class tricks. Part 2, look at the clock again and decide on a new location. 10 seconds before the 30-second moment arrives, rethink whether you want to fulfill the prophecy. If you do, be at the place you decided upon. If you do not, choose a new location at random and be there when the 30-second moment arrives. Repeat the above exercise several times. Which of the two parts above created the stronger and more solid future? The answer, of course, is part 1. Which of the two futures would a prophet be more likely to foresee? The answer, again, is part 1. The point being made is that the future is shaped largely by intention, backed by action. My God, folks, I shit you not. I have not read this. I did not know that it was going to get into about intention. Our whole shows have been about intention and intent all night. God damn. You see? That's why I love the universe, man. The universe abides. Amazing synchronicity. It's happened so many times on air since I've been doing this show. That's why I continue, man, because it's real. It is real. And if you tune into it, and all you have to do is acknowledge that it's real, and my God, everything opens up to you. Really, try it. What's it going to hurt to try it? The point being made is that future is shaped largely by intention, backed by action. The stronger the intention, and the better it's back up by action, the more solid the future will tend to be. The future is therefore malleable. A future reality, no matter how solid it is or how many prophets have agreed to its existence, can be changed. 2012 is not a foregone conclusion. It does not mean the end of the world. It does not mean that because they're doing all this stuff that we're going to be in FEMA camps and martial law and World War III and all this. No. This is a custodial trick to get us to put our intentions into things they want to see come to fruition, so that in the end, again, plausible deniability, they can say, well, guess what? You want to know how it really works? Here's how it is. We got all you assholes to manifest this for us, and we didn't ever have to lift a finger, and we did it all, and you brought in about the New World Order, and you brought in about World War III and FEMA camps and all this stuff by putting your intent and your energy behind believing it was going to happen. That is why Alex Jones and these phony patriots and all the rest of you clowns that support them and who are on all these networks, you know who the fuck you are, you white nationalists and all the rest of you clowns, you're going down. Oh, it's so over for you guys. My God, why do you even still get up in the morning? We can change this. It's not over. The New World Order doesn't have to come to fruition. And I tricked myself into believing that lie too. Well, no more. My God, we all believed that, didn't we? Oh, it's a foregone conclusion. Might as well just go along with it and fucking, learn how to adapt in it. And that may well be true. That may end up what's happening. And I'm not saying that's bad, but look, folks, the genie's out of the bottle, the cat's out of the bag. This is not set in stone. We can change this. We still have a chance. And we don't have to get involved in politics and give our money to Ron Paul and do everything else. We can do this from the ground up without infiltrators, without negative energy, with pure intent for doing it to defeat evil. What do you think we're going to do? A future reality, let me give it to you one more again. A future reality, no matter how solid it is or how many prophets have agreed to its existence, can be changed. It will be irreversible only if people continue to perform or fail to perform those actions which will cause that future to come about, which means only if people continue to be in ignorance of the true mechanisms of power behind them will that power be able to come in. But now that more people are awakened to it, and again, it's out of the bag now, man. People now know about the priest class. People now know about the Council for National Policy. They know about the Jesuits. They know about the custodians, all this stuff. It's out of the bag now, man. And the only thing will stop that is if people continue to not think for themselves and believe that Alex Jones or any other messianic figure or cult of personality figurehead has all the answers. No. You have the answers. I have the answers. All of us have the answers inside all of us. But are we going to realize that we are the ones that are going to change this? We are the ones we've been waiting for. Us. Some people would argue that the true seer would foresee the change of mind in part 2 of the above exercise. If this is true, then the prophet has gained an extraordinary ability to influence the future, for he or she may now contact the subject of his or her vision and persuade that person to change his or her mind, or the seer may take actions to ensure or prevent the consequences of the decision. Prophecy has really only one value: as a tool to either change or to ensure the future. The problem with a seer who foresees a tragic event, which later comes true, is that he or she divined insufficient information to do anything about it. That's why it doesn't matter that Bill Cooper predicted 9/11 was going to happen before Alex Jones did, and Alex Jones claimed he did. Well, it doesn't matter either way, because neither one of them divined any information that could change it. So does it matter that they were able to tell beforehand it was going to happen? No. Look how many things I predicted were going to happen that have happened in the 4 years I've been doing this show. When you're paying attention, that's easy to do. But again, it doesn't matter if you're not pulling anything that's going to change that event from happening in space time. Doesn't matter. Prophecy. I'm sorry, I read that. It says that. The problem with the seer who foresees a tragic event which later comes true is that he or she has divine insufficient information to do anything about it. For example, the famous American prophet Edgar Cayce predicted a worldwide Holocaust in the 1990s. Because of Mr. Casey's reputed ability to perceive such things, many people are convinced that such an event lies in the future. Perhaps it does. Well, that's the whole thing is when you have the ability to see one of those things, you have no idea whether that's a scenario that's going to play out on our space-time existence or whether it's going to be something that's going to play out in another universe, because there are multiple dimensions and multiple levels above our own dimension. And much of the same way that Einstein describes his theory of relativity, you have all of these different scenarios that are possible, and all of them are playing out somewhere in space-time. You may only experience scenario A, but in some other universe, in some parallel timeline, experience B is taking place. So that's what Edgar Cayce and a lot of these people like this are really seeing. They're not seeing a definite future, but a possible one. Because of Mr. Casey's reputed ability to perceive such things, many people are convinced that such an event lies in the future. Perhaps it does. Unfortunately, Mr. Casey was not able to expand enough on his prediction to offer the detailed information which might be used to alter the events he predicted. His prophecy is therefore woefully incomplete. As we shall see in this book, there have been many end-of-the-world episodes in world history. They have all fulfilled the religious prophecies except on one very crucial point. Not one of them has brought about a new era of peace and salvation as promised. Despite that dismal record, many people today are preaching that yet one more end of the world or final battle is about to make life better. Shortly before the year 1 AD, a controversial religious leader was born who tried to prevent himself from being declared an apocalyptic Messiah. He was unsuccessful and would be nailed to a wooden cross as a result. We know him today as Jesus Christ, and his story is an important one. That's the end of chapter 11. Chapter 12 is the Jesus ministry. This looks to be even more interesting and deep to get into, and we'll be picking up and getting into that tomorrow night on the broadcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It was a great show. Really enjoyed it. Thanks so much to everybody out there. I was glad we got to, it was kind of a slow news day. We didn't have to do a lot of that. And I enjoy the email so much. Global Reality Show at gmail.com. If you have emails, send them over to me, and just love getting those. Great emails tonight. Thanks so much to everybody who sent emails. And again, support our work, folks. The Chipping Banner is there for the bills for the month, and that's the new one we've got up there for the month coming up. That starts on Friday, and the donate button's there. If you want to, send amounts that we can buy more equipment with and grow and make things better with, whatever else, that's how you do it. We don't have commercials. We don't sell you water filters. We don't make you sit through anything. We don't try to sell you anything. This is a revolution of the mind. And you know what? Again, my intent is going to bring about the results that I need, and the expectations I have for the things that I need to get my job done are going to be fulfilled by the fact that I know more than I've ever known anything in my life that I'm doing the right thing. That's just all there is to it. You guys have a great night. My name is Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you. Take care. We'll see you next time.